Hi everybody, welcome to my channel for the fourth game of WTC 2022. We were playing against Poland. Very excited to play this round because we know that Polish are really amazing player, and it's always kind of a reality check to face them a couple of months before ETC. So really looking forward to this round and to play as well as I could. I got paired against Ever, who was their War of the Dark God player. This is my list as a reminder, and this was my opponent's list. So I got a Sorcerer on a Battle Shrine who was Master Evoke with Legend Standard, Alchemist Alloy, Magical Heirloom, Lord of the Damned. Basically what he can do is make the Forsaken one reroll. Other than that, he has very strong magical setup, as you will see later on. He has a Feldark Ancestors with the usual build, 24 Warrior of Lost, 15 Barbarian, 2 units of Eldrak, 2 Forsaken one, and 2 Flayer that can be chaff or also be annoying with the Skinning Lash and cause a couple of hits. Straightforward list, very strong magical setup with range damage, also combat buffs. I really love this piece. It's quite solid, can be within the Warrior block or within the Barbarian, depending on the situation. And then it's quite straightforward with enough threats. The unpredictable nature of the Forsaken one that forces you to react as an opponent, and then some strong pieces that we know, like the Ancestor. We played all the ground and frontline clash, so as classic as it could be. My spell selection was Hand of Heaven, Smite the Unbeliever, Wrath of God, Children of Umi, Rod of Battle, and Chilling. And he picked Ancestral Aid, Spectral Blades, -1 Leadership Resilience, and then 2 damage spell, Gravecall, and his Hereditary spell. Matchup analysis. So I think I have good tools to deal with monsters in my list, between the Kagadai on the Great Khan, Strength 6, and a lot of Strength 5 attack on the Tusker, especially on the charge. Poison shots and attack in close combat from the Mercs, and also potentially the two multi-wound hunting spear from the Frost Mammoth. So I have some good tools, also Thaumaturgy providing some answer from distance. Forsaken, I've played already against Forsaken and also other random movement in the book. I know it's kind of hard to predict for both players what they can do. He has a bit more control is the fact that he can reroll the roll to move forward, which I think is interesting in this list. But obviously, this is a great piece to open the game because it forces me to charge him with a unit that is strong enough, that is going to be higher value than the piece that is going to send in the middle of the board, meaning this Forsaken one. And at the same time, since he can always hit this, even when he dies, then he's going to do some damage to my unit. So I think it's quite interesting, and then he can take advantage from that with other unit that can strike after. The Warrior block, it's not a big problem for me in the match. It's just not a good matchup for my tribesmen, so I need to be aware of that. I think the fact that he has 3-up armor save, spike shield, couple of attack that hit well, it's not so good for the tribesmen to face them. He has a lot of ranks, so I'm not guaranteed to be steadfast as well. So it's not the perfect matchup. Other than that, it's not a huge problem in the list, this big block, because he didn't fill them with high combat capacity. They are lusts, so they are. It's not the mark that hits the most, so to say. Deal as quickly as possible with Forsaken one. Hopefully one of them try to kill it from distance. Would be good, but depends how he saves and if I start or I don't start. And obviously starting this game, I think it's a huge plus. I've played enough the Warrior matchup. Demon is similar as well. I'm always happy to start this type of game, especially on Hold the Ground, because you can get some board control, start to do range damage, and also avoid a possible push from him turn 1. My estimation that I put in the matrix was 13. I think it was a bit too optimistic. I think typically it's the type of matchup that I've been rating in the past as a 10, unstable. It depends who starts. It can be different type of game. If he's able to start and push me, it can be a very open game, and then therefore very unstable or unlikely, hard to predict outcome, so to say. If I start, I should be able to close a bit more the game, make harder for him to push me, and then it could be also quite standoffish sometimes, and especially on hold the ground it could be hard, because if I want to slow him down, he's going to push at me and have maybe some advantage on the secondary objective, which I think here my matchup rating was a bit too optimistic. Deployment. So I want the roll for side. No huge difference here. We have two impassable, and I just decided to pick the side with the hill, so it could be potentially interesting for me, rather than the other side that provides nothing crazy. And then obviously decided to drop for first turn, so he put a Feldrak unit, Ancestor for second one, Light Cav, Barbarian, Warrior with the Mage, second for second one, second Feldrak unit, and the Light Cavalry over there. My counter deployment. So first of all, all the scoring unit in the middle. I decided, like I said, so first of all, I covered the fact that the Light Cav cannot exit any line of sight in any interesting position. That was the first priority when you don't start, because I don't want him to go around and try to hunt my cat and stuff like that. So that was the first priority. And then I checked what type of matchup I want. I saw Tusker in the middle could be quite interesting, because they could be a good answer to both for second one. They are a good matchup against the Warrior because of the Resilience 5, enough attack, his Strength 4 is not too much of a problem. So I saw that could be a good pairing for me. And then I put the Kagadai, I put some distance between the Warrior and myself, but I wanted the Kagadai as an answer for the Ancestors. And I gave more open field to the Merc Vets on the right side of the board, where they face a 4-second one, but other than that, they should be able then to move forward. They are not scared by these guys, so they could claim some board space and apply pressure on the flank, potentially also face these guys, which wouldn't be a too bad matchup for me. Then I put my darts everywhere if I need to chaff or score the middle. Chaff piece in the back. My mage started all the way back because I don't need to be forward at the moment. It's okay to be here. And then I put both my single model on the flank. Put the Frosty on the left and the Giant on the right. Giant that is going to try to have some free space and cut some march check and try to apply pressure from the flank. And Frosty that is going to try to maintain some standoff, maybe try to play with Impassable, also try to throw a hunting spear or two at some monsters, and could be a support piece if I need to strike before with some of my elements, being here the Tusker or the Tribesman, for example. He's turn 1, so without big surprise, he decided to come at me quite hard. He uses the first chaff piece and pushes Ancestors and both for second one forward. Goes behind the wall with his Feldrak to avoid me shooting him easily. The block remained a bit more behind, and he put his mage over here to have some range to cast spell at my Tuskers. These guys move slightly forward, but not too much. He gave me like 11 or 12 charge, 11 I guess, a charge. Wasn't too afraid of the terror check, and then obviously if I fail it, he charged me, should be able to deal with me. Magic Phase, also worth mentioning, he did 1 wound to the Tusker with the Skinning Lash, which is always something. Magic Phase, I dispelled Gravecall, or he failed Gravecall, but got Hereditary and did 2 wounds to my Tusker. So yeah, he cast first Hereditary, I let that go, I think reroll the successful armor save, and then I kept my dice to dispel Gravecall, but he failed that one. My turn 1. So yeah, here I was a bit trapped, because basically if I move them back, with him rerolling his random move, if he gets the charge off, then he would be in my backline easily. So I was a bit stuck. What I decided to do is to move these guys fast forward as a kind of blocker or limiting what he could do with his random movement. I moved these guys back to make sure the Ancestor couldn't charge them right now. And then I positioned myself, so I took the chaff obviously with the Death Star, to try to be free, then to maybe get a charge off on these guys or start to apply some pressure towards the middle of the map. And then I backed off these guys, prepared them as well if I need to chaff later on the cat the same. What I could have done slightly better is just to angle them. I was okay with, I agree with my opponent when he told me that was too much of a risk. I could have angled them slightly better. It was a bit technical move because I needed to check who can charge them how. and what could happen. What I should have done, I guess, is just to angle them slightly more to have a flank, to have a front on this guy, just to make possible overrun and combination a bit harder for him. I think that was a risk that I could have avoided. This guy moved to the flank. His idea will be to threaten his flank while the Merc Vets can move slightly forward. Merc Vets in a position to shoot the second one. And yeah, I move back the mage in the Merc Vets unit. Magic phase. I got boosted End of Even, did 4 wounds to them, which was really nice. Then with shooting, I did only 1 wound to his Forsaken one. He got 1 or 2 regen, and close combat, I killed the chaff with impact hits, so no problem. I could have potentially overrun, but that would have exposed me, I guess, to a possible charge of the warrior and combination, so I just reform, basically. His turn 2. He saw an opportunity here for my placement. Charge the flank with Ancestor, I pass my check, and then random move in the front. And basically his opportunity was, in case he doesn't do 9 wounds with 7 attack on 2-up and d6 plus 3 on 2-up, which is unlikely. I think there is a very good chance that he kills me in one go, but in case this doesn't happen, he could potentially get a pursue move this direction and impact them. And then I didn't place these guys to be in a position to countercharge. I think I could have been able to do it since the giant was already covering these guys. I could have angled slightly more just to make sure that in case that happened, I can countercharge him with them. I think that was totally doable, and I should have done it, I guess. Could have also angled these guys a bit more, for example, try to have a look here. So I had, I think, multiple options to just be a bit safer about this middle situation. I put 2 scoring in the middle, attempted an 11 charge against the Frosty, which tells me I need to avoid letting him big charges because he will try to take them. He failed that one, and also he failed that March check on a -1 due to the giant, which was nice for me. So these guys stay all the way back. I try to grave call my mercenaries but fails it, and then with 3 dice against 6 he got hereditary and kills my cat. Bit unfortunate, but could happen. He kills these guys in one go and decided to overrun. I didn't know that was possible, but I think I learned something. If this was played wrong, please tell me in the commentary section, but I didn't know that. I saw you can overrun through one friendly unit in the same combat, but only if that leads to another charge. Looks like it's not the case, so he was able to overrun past this guy and then ended up here in the front and uses the Forsaken one to shield the Ancestor and make basically the charge of Tusker or Merc Vets very hard, because I would have only 1 model in contact, so not doable for me. So I thought that was well done from him. Other than that, yeah, as you saw, a random move here towards his unit of Barbarian with the Forsaken one, and that's it. Let's move on to my turn. So, action here. I took my time out because I saw a couple of opportunities. The first one, I need to deal with this guy, and the only option that I saw that was for me the good option was to double charge him and expect an overrun from them that would be blocking the Ancestor. Needed a 7 to impact him, but if I roll already like a 4, it's enough to chaff him at least for this turn. So I thought that was for me a good opportunity to try to block him and at the same time deal with the Forsaken one that lost not so many wounds. So I took this charge, and the second one where I had a doubt between like moving forward was a charge on 9 Swift Ride against the Forsaken one, which I like a lot because I would be out of arc of them if I overrun into Barbarian, and if I don't overrun I can still reform out of arc of them, and I felt no counter charge. So and if I fail the charge, basically I'm not too much exposed. So I thought that was a very good opportunity for me. So we took the time out because I thought that was the key moment where these decisions were important. I was quite excited that there was good opportunity for me to take. But I was happy to succeed this charge. 9 Swift Ride, I got exactly 9 on dice. Other than that, turn these guys around to shoot at the Ancestor, try to do a couple of wounds. Push the giant on his flank. Nobody's looking at me, so I felt that was good. Move this guy completely out of charge range of them. I think what I should have done instead would be moving 12 to the middle to basically have a position where he couldn't see me, but I could still charge him in case he marched forward and in case he tried to turn around, because if you see now the action is in the middle and he will need to react to this position, so most likely he's going to move back towards the middle. I could have been able to cover that position with the Frosty towards the middle, and in case he tried to push to the flank, I can still, even if I look straight here, I can still, I guess, move and minimize the contact, and he can charge me with one guy touching me, and then I think I'm fine to hold that charge with the Frosty. So I think I had better opportunities, better possibilities with the Frosty to try to take advantage from this situation and also support these guys for what could potentially happen. So I could have pushed here towards the middle. Yeah, that's it. Magic phase. I got -1 resilience on this one. So when you look at the board, I have 2 key combats, and I felt here if I don't go through in one round, it's depending on what the Kagedai does, but if I don't go through in one round, basically it's not the end of the world. I need to go through in 2 rounds, so it's not the end of the world. Basically what I need to go through is here, because if I don't, then it charge me, and that's very complicated after for me to manage. So I got -1 resilience here. That's it. The rest of the buffs, so Rod of Battle and Hereditary, were dispelled. I got 2 wounds of the Feldrak Ancestor with my shots, which is okay. And then what happens, let me check. So I got first this combat, yeah, -1 resilience helps a lot. I was able to kill him. I don't get the 7 of on the overrun, but I got a 4, I guess, or something enough to chaff him and reform these guys. He killed 1 Tusker, but I still have 2 remaining. And this combat, yeah, Kagedai on 2 up, 3 up, and then he regen on 5, did enough to kill him. And then I overrun on the Barbarian on a 4 Swift Stride. So quite happy about that. His turn 3. He reacts to the new situation by, first of all, so here he charged my Bruiser unit that hold on a 9 or 8 rerollable, not sure, but all this check. And then what he did is to push this unit to my flank. This one moves again to my flank. It's what I was telling you before. The game is here, it's not here on the flank. So bad decision for me, and he's able to take advantage from that. And basically what he does is quite smart. He's telling me, you have a big unit in the middle of my line, but basically I'm looking at every flank of you. So if I charge a warrior, there is no way I will get through them in one go, meaning it can counter-charge. If I charge them, then he could potentially see me. If I charge them, I'm far away from the front. So he's looking at me from different direction, move out with the mage to not get into any risk to get killed by the Kagedai, and uses the second piece of chaff to chaff my giant that is threatening his back here. Yeah, that was it. In his magic phase, he failed again the march check with them, but I don't know what differently he would have done to chaff me, maybe a bit different than what he did here. Magic phase, he got Binding Scroll, reroll to hit. He got -1 resilience and leadership on my Death Star. And then Grave Call against my giant with 4 dice against 5. He got that off and one-shot my giant. I think he got reroll to wound and did exactly 7 wounds. So yeah, nothing I can do. Just lost the giant, which is a bit sad. I would have liked to survive 1-2 wounds just to charge and get rid of the chaff at least and still be annoying for him. So yeah, that was disappointing, but nothing I could do. And close combat, very surprisingly, he fluffed completely. He was like 2 up, I guess. I think I had no buffs off, so 2 up, but he just fluffed and killed only like 1 bruiser, or did like 2 or 3 wounds. I did something back as well, and I think it was a tie. I think I didn't test at all, so it was a tie on the combat, which was a big surprise because now I have some good counter charge setup. Here Barbarian, I kill everybody except 4 or 3. They break. I pass my check. I think there is here 18 inch. I think I was within the bubble. I guess so. It was an 8 rerollable to not pursue, if I'm not mistaken. My turn 3. So I charge first the tribesman that I reform. I charge first the 2 guy here. Then I redirect. He fled quite far away. I decided to redirect on the back of him because I could escape line of sight with a reform. So I charge him in the back, pass the check on the 8 rerollable. which was nice. Then I decided with the Merc Vets to charge them again, to push them away and pass a check on the 9 rollable to charge him in the flank to make sure I can get rid of him completely. Yeah, I don't know if it was needed to... I think the first charge of them I had no choice, because if I don't charge them, I couldn't contact properly because of the position of them. I couldn't contact properly and be out of line of sight. So I had no choice to take the first one, and then if I fail redirect, I can always try to catch them and then organize a flee pass in case I cannot escape and I roll really low. But we were so close to each other. I think despite the fact that he rolled like a 9 or a 10, I had still good chance of catching him because of the fact that we were close to each other. But even then... then the key question is, was I right to charge him and redirect our 9 rollable to the flank? I think it was still key for me to push away a scoring unit as far away as I could from the center, but maybe that was an avoidable risk. Hard to say, to be honest. I put my Frosty in the middle to make sure that I'm within 9 of him, so that my Merc Vets can go before him. Then I will get all impacted and some attacks before him, which is always nice. Position myself out of line of sight of them so they cannot charge me, but then I'm still protecting the center. And move forward a bit with this unit in case I want to score. In my magic phase, what happened? I get, I think, a lot of buffs off. This round I was quite lucky. I got Hereditary on the Mercs, Rod of Battle on the Mercs, and then -1 Resilience on him. So that was lucky for me. And then only with Impacted, I killed him already. So I think he had like 4 wounds left, probably. And just with Impacted, I killed him and reformed in a way to be out of line of sight. So that was the close combat. He's turn 4. Since he couldn't see me, he moved forwards, looking at me, positioned a piece of chaff to chaff these 2 units. So I have here the Great Khan and the remaining tribesmen. And here, as you can see, we have the Merc Vets with the Shaman and BSB that reform 3 wides to allow them to reform properly out of line of sight. And here, yeah, it's a bit of traffic jam. I admit. These guys rallied, which is good news for him. Magic phase, he got 2 wounds off my first Mammoth with Hereditary, and yeah, moves back in the unit with his mage. Then it will be my turn. I didn't charge a chaff because my idea was just to position. It's not really clear on the picture, but I move everybody out of line of sight of them, just to make sure if they cannot charge, then this block cannot charge these guys. So that was the idea. Just to make sure he cannot charge them this round, because that would be a risky fight. I'm not sure he would win it, but I don't want to risk it too much. Seeing how the board looks like, I move the mage back here and move the Great Khan in this unit. These guys just move slightly back. In case he wants to charge me, I can flee, and I will get my first center point to make it 1-1, because he won round 2. We tied, I guess, round 3. Yeah, we tied round 3, and I will win a first point this round. Yeah, magic phase, nothing special. And then I tried to shoot these guys, but didn't do much. And then we moved to his round. So he charged first with them on 11 to my flank and decided to hold. But then these guys charged me, and then I decided to flee. He redirected with them to the Frost Mammoth on 11 or 12. 11, I guess, and failed that charge, and these guys couldn't redirect into anything, so just failed the charge towards the impassable. Here I think what he could have done, I'm not sure this charge is worth it to my flank, because I would already have fled the first one, so I'm not sure. Maybe these guys could have positioned better without charging, because now they are blocked with the impassable, basically. He chaffed me again, moved these guys towards the middle to have 2 scoring in the middle. And this will be the last round. And magic phase, he failed Grave Call, I dispel Hereditary, and that was it. My last round, I will just charge and kill the chaff and attempt a 12 charge against this guy to force a terror check, maybe get half point if they flee, and rally my guys on a 9 rollable, and that will be the end of the game, because I'm able to put 1, 2, 3 scoring unit against 2. I win secondary by 2 against 1. So I took 2 Forsaken one, the Barbarian unit that didn't rally, fled off the board, the General Ancestors, and 2 Flayers unit. He took from me 1 Bruiser unit, Tiger, and the Giant that he killed with magic. Post-game analysis, yeah, I already said a lot, but the fact that he was starting this game gave him an edge on all the ground, I guess. He was able to claim board control, and it was always going to be hard for me to recover from that on the secondary objective. I think I took advantage from the couple of opportunities that he gave me, thinking especially about the 9 Swift Stride against the Forsaken one. I think he had no big advantage to give me that opportunity. It could have been a bit further away without losing too much, I guess. So I think that was the key opportunity that he gave me. And then the center, where we knew that him going in the middle with the 2 single model, we knew that a lot could have happened differently as well. I was maybe at some combat sequence that happened, could have turned differently, like I mentioned. So yeah, I took advantage from the opportunity that I had, definitely. And yeah, turn 1, like I said, I could have, my turn 1, I have a bit of regret because I could have positioned my Bruiser darts slightly better to avoid this possible overrun, and especially I could have positioned also my Merc Vets a bit differently to have a counter charge in case that happened. Yeah, getting this turn 2 charge was huge, obviously, and I think my estimation of the matchup should have been 10 rather than 13. So that's also lessons learned for the next time that I face a similar list on all the ground. This round, so it was a close round on most table. If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 table, we were really close to each other, and then there is 117 for them and 217 for us. That makes the difference and made us win the round. So it was a close round. Congrats to them for the competitive round. It was always going to be very interesting to face them. And yeah, we're quite happy to win this one on the 4th round, because now we are on table 1 facing Team Germany Alpha for the final of this event, so to say. So we have still the possibility to win it, but we need to win it big, like 95 plus to win the whole event. So this is typically the situation where you know that you can get also some other team can then win big and go over you if you try too hard to win it big and then you lose too much. So we don't want to take too much risk against Germany to end up then outside of the podium due to the fact that we risk too much. But then we also want to have maybe the opening in some games when we see a strategical moment where we could win bigger. Then we want to take that opportunity to maybe take some time out and judge the risk. So this was going to be interesting for us to play the final game against them, because we got exactly what we went to Melee to have, which is very competitive games, highly interesting round. And also, yeah, it's very cool for us that we had 4 out of 5 rounds in the top table. The top 3 table, you had 2 separate rooms, which were way more quiet than the main hall, which was really nice to play in, because then if you compare it with the main hall, you just get, I think at the end of the weekend, it just you feel more, I don't know, more exhausted maybe after the tournament if you are in the main hall due to the noise. So that's it for this round. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and talk to you soon on the channel for the 5th battle report. Bye.